Hey, coin collectors, and welcome DC Coin World International Coin Channel. And here we are on a beautiful summer day. It's August of 2020 as I make this, and the birds are singing outside, and the flowers are blooming. And I'm sitting inside making a video because I had to choose between mowing the lawn and making a video, and guess what I chose? So here we are looking at a collection of coins from 1965 from the United Kingdom. And this is just a beautiful set. These are all circulated, and so they're pretty well used. And over to the side here, you'll see we have our brilliant uncirculated Bungle Collects Coins keyring. And Bungle sends us some coins once in a while and sends us some notes and also sends us a swizzle stick to point out stuff. One of the things I didn't notice about the Bungle keyring is it's left-handed and right-handed. So this is the right-handed version, and what you do is you turn it over and you have the left-handed version. So there's the Bungle keyring. Feel free to go and take a look at some videos on Bungle Collects Coins. He just does these great coin searches, and it's kind of fun, him and Lady M going through stuff. But let's get to my channel and what I'm doing here. And let's look at the 1965s. And what I want to start with are the 1 shilling coins. I just want to talk a little bit, focus a little bit on the 1 shilling coins from 1965. This is the penultimate or next to the last year that they made the 1 shilling coins. And that's because um, they switched in 1970 they switched to the decimalization system, um, and the pound became worth 100 pence or pennies. But in 1965, it was still worth 240 pence or pennies, or 480 halfpence. And we'll look at them later. These are just amazing engravings as you see them here. They're William Maving Gardner engravings. And the 1 shilling coin, you see it says 1 shilling here, Fid Def or Defender of the Faith at the top. It's a crowned shield, a royal shield. This is a royal shield of England with the three, or the Royal English shield with the three lions passant here. We see a W and a G on here. And here's the W, and there's the G, and that's for William Maving Gardner, who was the engraver of these coins. Now, this is the Lion's Passant, or the English version. This is the Scottish version of the lion's rampant, or rampaging lion, standing up here. And you'll see that you have the fleur-de-lis and all the other stuff that are pretty similar around the outside, but inside the shield, even though it's a crowned shield, we see that there's a lion standing, and right below the shield, we see again the W and the G for William Maving Gardner. And let's turn these over and we'll see of course, the Mary Gillick first portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. And this is the young Queen Elizabeth. I believe she was 28 years old at the time of this portrait. It says Elizabeth II here, Dea Gratia, or by the grace of God, Regina, or Queen, and she has the laureate crown, and we can kind of get that a little bit better. And by laureate, what they mean is kind of a laurel wreath that goes across. It's not a crown in the sense that it has the jewels and the other stuff on it. It's a crown in the sense that she is crowned with it. Has the ribbons coming out the back of her hair, and just a really nice portrait that Mary Gillick did of Queen Elizabeth II. So, what's going on with these? Well, there's something really interesting about, if we can get the color right here, there's something really interesting about the 1 shillings, and that is they are worth 12 pence. So this is 1/20th of a British pound sterling. So 20 of these was a pound sterling, 240 pence was a pound sterling. So these are each worth 12 pence each. They were never, to my knowledge, ever called a 12 pence coin. There is some stuff online about some 18 pence coins, but those are really old, and some really old 20 pence coins. But though these were never called 12 pence coins, that's what they're worth, 12 pence. So let's get to the smallest of the 1965, and this is the halfpenny. And of course, this is the Thomas Humphrey Paget. We see the HP here, the Golden Hind reverse, and we see halfpenny, the Union Jack, and the banner here. We see the cannon portholes here, the foredeck. 1965 and kind of the geared outer rim. This is a smooth edged coin. And again, when you turn it over, you see it has the Mary Gillick first portrait. Now you notice there's a difference in color here because, of course, this is a bronze coin, and the 1 shilling was a cupro-nickel or copper nickel coin. The copper nickel coin came out with the one for the 1 shilling in 1946. They switched from silver to copper nickel. So if you're looking for a really collectible 1 shilling, look for before 1946 because they're worth a minimum of almost $2 just in silver value. And there's also a really expensive Scottish reverse 1959 that might be worth as much as £10 uncirculated. So look for that too. So this is the half penny. And we can see again the Mary Gillick portrait. Here comes the penny, and of course you know Britannia is on the back of the penny. She's holding the trident here. There's a Union Jack shield here, the lighthouse behind her, and look through your old pennies and you see some have the lighthouse, some don't. Some have kind of a roiling sea, some have a smooth sea, some have a ship out here on the earlier ones. So if you don't have any of those, look at them up online and you can kind of see the different versions of Britannia here. Of course, you know the saying, Britannia rules the waves. 1965 she is. There's 240 of these to a pound. And again, the Mary Gillick portrait. Next up was the 3 pence. And of course, if we're doing our math, that would be 80 to the pound. The people in the United Kingdom must have used to have been really good mathematicians, right? To kind of figure out what the hell each one of these was worth to the pound and how much a pound was worth, and 480 half pennies and 240 pence. It's like, Jesus. 80 of these was a pound. We have the crown Portacullis. And then if we look way down in here, we see somebody came back to us here. W.G. William Maving Gardner did the back of this coin here. And the 3 pence, of course, is a nickel brass coin. It's dodecagonal, which means that it has 12 sides, and the 12 sides are kind of a smooth edge. And it's a little thicker than the other coins. It's almost 1.5 times as thick as the penny. Next up is the 6 pence, and here's the 6 pence here. And this is one where we see it has an EF here and a CT. Edgar Fuller and Cecil Thomas were the engravers of this coin. Now that's why we have the EF and the CT. If we go into it, we see that there is a English Tudor rose, we have a Scottish thistle, we have the Irish or Northern Irish shamrock, and the Welsh leek going around the outside. And then you see there's another small shamrock here. It says Fid Def or Defender of the Faith. 6 pence in written out. There's no number 6 there. And then 1965, we turn it up, we see we have a reeded edge. And we get back and we have the Mary Gillick, of course, portrait on this one too, with the beaded outer rim. And then finally for 1965, we have the 2 shilling coin. And again, we have the Tudor rose in the center, the Scottish thistles, the Welsh leeks, the Northern Irish shamrocks, and then, of course, Edgar Fuller and Cecil Thomas down here, the designers of this coin. And again, another reeded rim. And when we get to the front, we have the Mary Gillick portrait. So let's look at these in terms of size. Well, in terms of size, the penny's huger, right? It's way big. And then we have the half penny. And then we have the 2 shillings. We have the 3 pence. And we have the 6 pence is the smallest. Now, the Shillings coins, the 1 shilling coin, was actually called a bob also. So the plural of shilling, as they say, is a bob. So if you had 5 bob, then that would mean you had 5 shillings. And change for the pound was often measured in shillings and pence. So if you bought something for a pound and they gave you back change, they might give you, say it cost you 50 pence for what you bought, they would give you back in shillings and pence, or 2 pence or 3 pence or 6 pence, your change. Now, in 2014, the last thing is that these coins all were demonetized at different times. So the halfpenny was demonetized in 1969. They quit making these in 1969, and they took them out of circulation, so you couldn't use them after 1969. So if you have a halfpenny, it's going to be before 1969, way before, because they actually, though they took them out of circulation in 1969, they stopped making them in 1967, really, except for a proof version. So that this one was taken out in 1969. The penny, which is right here, was taken out of circulation on August 31st, 1971, with decimalization. Of course, they came out with the new penny, or the smaller penny. Then the 3 pence coin. Now, the 3 pence coin is interesting because people kind of wanted to keep it. They liked it, but how did you kind of figure out what it was worth? So this was worth 1/80th of a pound. So when they went to the new pounds, they really couldn't keep this one either. So they had to get rid of this on August 31st, 1971, too. Demonetized then. The shilling, however, was worth something that was convertible. So this, the Scottish and British and English shillings, they kept them to December 31st, 1990. So decimalization was 1971. For 19 years, they still used the 1 shilling coins afterwards because they were worth 1/20th of a pound, or 5 pence, or 5 new pence. Or in America, we would call them a nickel, which would be 1/20th of a dollar. So these were worth 1/20th of a pound, so they kept them for another 20 years almost. The 6 pence, that's an interesting one because the 6 pence also converted to a 1/40th of a pound, and people liked it, so they kept it. So two of these equaled a nickel. But even though they did keep it, they decided by 1980, June 30th, that it was just too complex, so they got rid of the 6 pence in 1980. And then the 2 shilling coin, which was worth 1/10th of a pound, or it used to be called a florin, a tenth of a pound, they kept that until 1993. So for 22 years after the decimalization of the pound, you could still use a 2 shillings coin in the United Kingdom. It was June 30th, 1993, I believe, that they stopped making them. But they stopped, well, that they stopped using them, but they stopped making them in 1967. So this is kind of an interesting, there was some proof coins in 1970, but they stopped making them, and then they lasted for years. So that's all of our coins from 1965. Look for the bob or the shilling coin. Look for the 2 bob coin or the 2 shilling coin. And don't call anything a half bob because there wasn't one. And don't call it a 12 pence, even though that's what they're worth. Have a great day from DC Coin World International Coin Channel.